I realize you might be having some problems finding your myers-briggs type. So in this video, I'm going to give you 10 tips to find your myers-briggs type. And some of them are going to be questions, some are going to be things that you can do to narrow in on the results that you're getting and your understanding of this whole Myers-Briggs cognitive function system. Hey, what's up, team? It's Sherman here from Geek Psychology, helping you find your true character and level it up so you can play life better. It's rough not knowing your type. I mean, I personally feel like INFP has always resonated with me, but I get tons of questions and tons of just different comments about people asking, what can I do? How can I find my type? Who am I? Is the system broken? Am I broken? What's going on here? Like, why do I test out as this? And why do I test out as this? And every 16 types, or maybe you even get some other ones. You got some other letters thrown in there. I don't know. And so this video is going to help you narrow that down so you can actually kind of like have some more confidence in who you are and understand yourself more, your strengths and your struggles, so that you can play life better, because that's what we're about here. And I feel that the first step is to understand your personality type. If you do, you gain this sense of empowerment, this sense of belonging as well, and the confidence that comes around with that through knowing that this is something that you're good at. And this is another thing that you're good at that you could still grow a bit more. And also, this is, the struggle spot, the weak zone, the difficulties that you're going to have based on your personality type. And with all that comes motivation, and it comes this sense of wholeness of like, yeah, okay, now I finally know who I am. And there's always another layer of this to go to, right? There's always more to learn about yourself, but this, I feel, is one of the highest leverage points that you can go to understand. Okay, so let's get into these 10 different tips and ideas and techniques and questions and things that I went through preparing for this video, so that you can hopefully by the end of this at least have a roadmap of knowing where you should start looking. And also, you might even find the answer through this video. Actually, before we go into the 10 tips, let me just clump it all up a little bit more, okay? The first thing you need to do is you need to learn the theory. And the second thing you need to do is realize that, like, I love this quote. I don't know where it came from, but if you take your finger and you put it right in front of your face, you look really weird on camera in front of a bunch of people, and you can't even see your fingerprint. You can kind of see your finger, right? And the more you bring it out, okay, then you can focus on your fingerprint. You can focus on what makes you you. And that's kind of how I see a lot of this, is you are so connected to yourself. You know a lot about yourself, and knowing that it's important to take a step back and really just analyze and look at it as the big themes, the running themes in your life. What are those, and how do those relate to personality type? So that's going to be the basic, chunk of all this, okay? And then now from here, let's go down and break it into 10 different pieces and questions and things that you can go through to understand and to find your Myers-Briggs type. Number one, you probably guessed it, it's study. And everybody's like, oh yeah, I know that. Well, but you do need to do it to figure out your type. Learn the dichotomies, F, T, S, and all those. And also learn the cognitive functions and learn how they're connected to each other, the axes. Learn the theory through studying it. You can't just like open a book once and take a test in class and be like, okay, I'm a rocket scientist now. It doesn't work like that. You got to study it. You don't go to the gym once, exercise, and then be like, okay, well, I'm done. I learned enough. I did enough. Now I'm ripped. doesn't work like that, right? You need to study the theory. There are plenty of resources to do that. You can do it through videos. You can do it through like text and stuff online, asking people, joining different forums and chat servers and stuff like that. It's all there, right? And take it with a grain of salt, which I'm going to say later as well. But that's a start. Also, you need to learn your cognitive function stack, what that means, even if you don't know your personality type, and how these different aspects and facets of yourself come out in different emotionally tinged ways, right? Your dominant function is going to be the heroic side of yourself. The auxiliary is that mentor-like, good parent style. The tertiary function is more of a relief, defense, kid sidekick, kind of newbie type character. The inner child, sure. Inferior function is going to be this aspirational. It's going to have this energy attached to it that the cognitive function exists in. It's like a movie. There are these characters, and then there's the actor that plays that character. Okay. Also, check out books. Dario Nardi's Neuroscience of Personality I love it. I mean, it's an amazing book. It helped me clarify a lot of things too when I was reading it. I'll link down below a lot of affiliate links. Okay, I gotta say that up front. But you can go about it in any way you want. Books are obviously a good thing because there are people who have studied it for way longer than anybody here that's doing YouTube videos and stuff like that, right? Also, learning your personality type through the other systems. Enneagram's gonna mess you up a little bit. If you're one certain Enneagram type, Enneagram 9 as opposed to Enneagram 4, you're going to interact with your type a little bit differently. That might be screwing you up. Or if you're like one of the rarer combinations, that's going to mess you up too, right? So maybe that might be an easier on-ramp into understanding your Myers-Briggs type. Number 2, they're going to get a little bit shorter from here, is to notice the common threads if you take a lot of these tests. Right? First of all, the tests have I think it's like an 80% or something like success rate in predicting, right? Online tests. But still, notice the common threads. If you keep getting I, N, blah, 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 well, then you can guess that you're probably an introvert, you're probably an intuitive. And then the other ones you got to figure out a little bit. And then from there, you go for those low-hanging fruits. From there, you can understand the cognitive functions a bit more if you studied and if you really understand what they are. And you can start to piece the puzzle together. Okay, so figure out the common threads. And with that, also understanding that your auxiliary function and your tertiary function are going to have this push and pull within your mind. It's this conscious awareness that's going to possibly confuse you a little bit, right? If you're like, well, I feel like a feeler, but sometimes, I say it like it is. Well, maybe you have feeling and thinking as your auxiliary and tertiary function. And those two voices, those two characters are speaking really loudly. And because of that, you're not sure which one you are. Number 3, what are you not? What are you not? Think about it inversely, right? Invert the problem. I am not an extroverted judger. I'm not an EJ. I'm not an IJ. I know it. It's just not how I approach life. I'm not a sensor. I have no idea what's going on around me. I'm never here in my body, in the moment, nor am I in the past in a way that's going to help me stabilize the present and check in with what happened and the lessons from the past, and using those to go through and compare accurately what's happening now to what happened in the past. It's just not there. I hear that voice a lot because it's my tertiary function, but that's not, no. So think about what you're not and try to go from there. Number 4, mine your friends and family. And what I mean by that is ask them. Or if you don't want to ask them, about yourself, because, it can be a little daunting, can be a little scary, think about what they come to you for advice for. What kind of questions do they bring to you? Do they ask you to analyze this problem and give you another way of thinking about a situation? Well, you might be one type. You might be an NI, so an NJ, or maybe a TI, a TP. Could be a lot of things. But I'm just saying, go through it and understand what people are coming to you for. Do they ask you for money a lot? Because you are the stable rock in their life, in your relationship? Like, are you the one that's like, I do my duty, I do my job, I have this savings bank, I'm cautious about it? You might be an STJ. Might not, but it's something to think about. And with that, bring the salt. Just make sure you take it with that grain of salt or a whole salt lick. Because sometimes, people are going to have different viewpoints of you that are entirely based on themselves and other things or who you were in the past. But use it. You can always get something from that information. I've asked people on Facebook and face-to-face a bunch of times, like, what do you think about me? Honestly, tell me who you think I am and what am I like? And they give you tons of insights. And if they give you bad ones, then this is not the finger that I wanted to put up. Number 5, find celebrities that you resonate with, that you relate to, that you feel similar to. You feel like Warren Buffett, might want to check out ISTJs. If you like Bruce Lee, ISTPs. Just INFPs, Keanu Reeves, whatever it is. Think about going at it through that. Like, what do you admire in these other celebrities or characters? Because that's probably something that you have within you. Might be something that you haven't really tapped into, but it might be something that is pointing at who you want to be, who you aspire to be. Number 6, there we go. Take flow notes 10 random times a day. Get an app, get something that's going to remind you 10 times throughout the day to stop, think about what you're doing, how you're feeling about it, and any other things that could be there, okay? Who you're with, all these kind of things. Just take notes about it. And eventually you're going to get enough data on it that, like, okay, well, I play StarCraft a lot. I used to get those flow notes all the time because when I was playing StarCraft, because I played StarCraft a lot. And it was, for me, I liked the technical side of things, right? And I'm an INFP, but I liked that it was accessing my TE in a way that I could, find ways to achieve these goals quickly. And I could see my success and my progress. I also liked looking up builds and things like that for StarCraft and for League of Legends and things. So I did that a lot, and I used to get a lot of information from that as a point of relief, not necessarily as a strength. So you got to take this and look at it in a bunch of different perspectives. Okay, but also if you're like, well, I was helping somebody and I felt really good. Well, how were you helping them? And why did it make you feel good? And what were you doing? Think about it. Think about how that adds up into how often you access your dominant function and probably your auxiliary function. Naraban. Number 7, stay open to the types and try them on. Okay, if you don't know who you are, but you're like, I think maybe I'm an ESTP, but I might be an ESTJ, or maybe an ENTJ, I don't really know. Like, I'm kind of feeling this like SENI type thing, this engage and envision or vision insights and in my body, mind-body connection, right? You're getting a lot of that, but you don't really know which one. Well, just try one on. Say, okay, as an experiment, because life is all about experiments. When I read forums and read information about it, watch other videos on ESTP, I'm going to think that it really resonates with me. I'm going to see how it goes, and how often am I doing these things and relating to these stereotypes as well. And just try it on. It's not going to kill you. Just except I still do that with other types. I'm still like, okay, well, what if I was an INFJ? What would that be like? How would I act? How would I question these things in different ways? How would I focus on different aspects of my career and my life and all these things? And it often shows me that, no, I'm not. It's not my zone. Number 8, what are you repulsed by? It could be a repulsion as in like disgust. Like, when I read TE descriptions, I just feel dead inside. sorry TJs. But an IFP is probably going to feel like that, because your inferior function has this energy around it that stops or goes directly against your dominant function a lot of times, right? So that could be a sign of that. Also check into if you understand the 8 function, John Beebe 8 function stack, your 5th function, your rival function, opposing hero function, is also going to rub you the wrong way. Extroverted feeling things, reading the room and proactively embracing people and stuff like that. It's just not how I do things, and it often clashes with introverted feeling. So check that out with yourself. Like, what functions repulse you? And then build rapport with them from there. Number 9, what do you suck at? And what do you have wounding around? I have a lot of wounding, a lot of bad connections. It was mild stuff, but attached to my memory, forgetting things, and just not being able to do math properly and things like that. Forgetting how to get home, forgetting, where I am, forgetting the lines to plays and things like that, and songs. And so I have a lot of those connections, and that's housed within my tertiary function, and possibly, my 8th function, introverted thinking. So think about, what do you suck at? Because that's probably not your strength. It's probably not one of the letters within your myers-briggs code, right? If you're in, I don't know, I'll say ESTJ. If you're an ESTJ, emotional stuff, you probably have a lot of wounding around that, or you've just blocked it all off and it's there. It's not something you pay attention to, but really there's probably some wounding around there. And the last one, number 10, do you feel the need to show up as another type? And this is some deep work here. Do you feel that you have to show up as a sensor, for example, in order to fit in? And is that possibly what's swaying your results, or swaying this uncomfortable feeling within you that, like, I don't think this type resonates with me, but I keep testing out as a sensor? Well, it could be because you feel the need to, through work or family, relationships, past history, whatever it is, to show up as one type, to show up as a sensor, to show up as a feeler, or a thinker, or a judger, whatever it is, an extrovert, an introvert. So think about that and give it time. Really dig into it. And with that, are you trying to be this other type in order to protect something, in order to protect your safety in some way, or your identity, who you think you are, your egoic identity? That's some deep work, but it will also give you a lot of insights into yourself, whether it be telling you your Myers-Briggs type, or just telling you about yourself and helping you live a better life. It's all about exploration and getting feedback and getting more information about yourself. It's all good data. It's all good information if you know how to use it right. If you're taking it and actually looking at it in a way that's going to support you, right? Somebody could say some really negative things to you, But if you take it and you say, okay, well, maybe I could adjust my approach, then that's good information. Now you've turned that into a positive, right? So this whole struggle is here to give you something, right? So just keep at it and keep accepting that it's all good information. It's all part of your path, or whatever you want to call it, into understanding more about yourself and the world and life and everything like that. So what I'd like you to do is to, if you've watched this video and you do know your type and you just feel like watching this video, thank you very much. Comment down below about who you are in terms of personality type and what helped you find your type. What was that glimpse, that little golden nugget that you found that was like, oh, okay, I understand it now? What was the book or the description that helped you? Please let us know down below. And also, as always, in the description, you can contact me for profiling session. They usually take about an hour, 2 hours, but that's one way about it. I honestly suggest that you keep digging in and find it through your own personal self-reflection until you want somebody to maybe clarify it, but it's up to you. All right, keep up the lifelong questing. Good luck, have fun. Peace. My phone's gonna stop. It's gonna die because it's so hot. Summer in Japan. Summer in Japan. Summer in Japan. What? Summer in Japan. I don't know what genre that is.